today I'm sharing with you an update of my money management system. And I made an episode about a year ago where I was telling you my process for how I manage my system. And in this time it has changed. And I wanted to share with you what has changed and what is working for me. And the reason why I share with you this update is because the goal, the system that I use is not set in stone. It changes with my life, and why I share it with you so that I can encourage you to identify ways to change yours and make it work for you in your season. If what you're doing now is not working, by all means, change it to work for you. That's why I'm sharing this episode. Now, in the flow of my management system. Hi guys, welcome to Personal Finance and Coffee Podcast. I'm Gabriela, and on this channel I share with you ways to manage the money that we make in a way that we can have it grow and help us attain the goals that we have. You know that feeling of I've worked for 5 years, 10 years, but I don't know where my money has gone. And it's so frustrating. This is what I talk about on this channel. Let's manage this money. Let's attain the goals that we've set so that we feel like, yeah, I've attained what I wanted in the time that I've been able to work and make my money. If this is something you find interesting, please like, please subscribe so that you don't miss upcoming episodes. So today I'm sharing with you an update of my money management system. And I made an episode about a year ago where I was telling you my process for how I manage my system. And in this time it has changed. And I wanted to share with you what has changed and what is working for me. And the reason why I share with you this update is because the goal, the system that I use is not set in stone. It changes with my life, and why I share it with you so that I can encourage you to identify ways to change yours and make it work for you in your season. If what you're doing now is not working, by all means, change it to work for you. That's why I'm sharing this episode. The flow of my management system all begins with where I make my budget. I still make my budget in my Google Sheet, in my Google Sheet template. So this is where I do the planning before the month begins. Now, what has changed is in the second step for me, which is the tracking. Before I used to use budgeting apps to track. So I would track my money I would write it down, track it in the budgeting app, and then I would track it in Excel. And over time it felt tedious. Sometimes I would just find myself not doing it because it was like overwhelming. At the time when I was doing it, it made sense to me and it worked for me. But then somehow life got busy and it didn't work for me anymore. So now I dropped the budgeting apps. So now I only use my notebook to capture, and then I put in the Google Sheet document for me to be able to analyze and see a larger scale view of the finances. So that is where the change is in terms of the flow of how I manage my money. That is so now it's just those two places where I do the tracking. Now when it comes to how I organize my finances and the bank accounts and the unit trusts, how the flow is structured, that hasn't changed very much. I have an episode where I talk about how organizing your money with 5 accounts, and that hasn't changed very much. I still have one unit trust that I use for long-term goals, and then like another unit trust for emergency fund, because when you mix the two, sometimes things get blurry. So I'd rather have 2 separate unit trusts. Then I have the checking account, which is for day-to-day, which is for day-to-day, so receive the money, swiping, standing orders, day-to-day transactions. And then I have the budget binders that I use to keep the money for variable spending, to have it take me through the month without feeling like it's mid-month and the money is gone, So I have an episode where I explain that process as well, the budget binders. And then of course the 5th is I keep it in my wallet, day-to-day spending and transport and stuff. So for me right now, those are the 5 places the 5 ways that I organize my money. And of course, I still have another account that I used to use. Now that's another change. I use primarily one bank account. The other is dormant. I used to have like a savings, like short-term savings account. Lately, I feel like it's not working for me. So far at the moment it's dormant. Maybe some changes will happen, but I guess we'll see. But anyway, at the moment, that is what is working for me right now. That's another change that I have when it comes to the flow of day-to-day operations. Because when I think about organizing finances, and I think about and I think about when this goal that we have to become financially free. When you think large scale, in terms of I want land, I want to have bonds, I want to have a business, I do have those goals, and I'm coming to that when it comes to my net worth. But what makes it possible to attain the bigger things for me and to have peace of mind is to have when my systems of day-to-day living are streamlined. I have less anxiety about what are we eating today, day-to-day things. I have less anxiety about everyday decisions. So when I have less anxiety, I'm more composed. So it makes it possible for me to be clear-headed, to think about the bigger picture, and not to stress about, because this day-to-day transaction, I've done it for so long that now it's streamlined. I just know, month has begun, set the budget before the month. My budget doesn't change very much now. I use the same budget. I just change a little bit depending on the events that are coming up. And it's like, let's go. It's a bit more streamlined. Now, because now this is streamlined, I'm now looking at the bigger picture. Like, even then I was looking at the bigger picture, but now I feel like my mind is more clear to focus on that this will keep going, and now I'm expanding the circle wider. So that is how, that's my system for the day-to-day. Now, when it comes to the larger picture, for me, I look at this in the form of net worth. When I'm tracking my net worth. Now, net worth can be intimidating sometimes. In simple terms, you're looking at what I own and what I owe. Like, when I look at all the things that I own and what people are demanding me, what is the net worth, what is the amount that I have. The goal is to have it grow over the years. And the day-to-day transactions that I make in this budget will affect the net worth. So if you're saving and investing, the net worth will show you the full picture, because the budget will show you on a monthly basis. It will not explain, in 1 month, when you're looking at 1 month, you will not see that my overspending in this 1 month has affected my net worth. That is what the net worth tracker does for me. I check on it like monthly, because it's on the same document in the Google Sheet budget that I use. I sell that budget, by the way, in case you're interested. I have 2 versions. I have one that I sell, and then I have a free version. Both of them have a monthly budget template, and they also have a net worth tracker. They're all in Google Sheets. I haven't made an Excel version yet. I'm going to have them linked in the description below if you're looking for it, and if you'd like to support me as well. But I look at my net worth once in a while, and in my net worth I look at the assets that I have. So when I'm looking at assets, this is where I look at if I have land. Okay, let me explain how I think about net worth. It helps to have it in different places, because different asset categories have different benefits and risks. Please bear in mind, before I start explaining my thought process on assets, I am not a financial advisor. So I am only speaking with authority on what I have done for me. Guys, please let me be clear. I'm not a professional financial advisor. And you may be wondering, but Gabi, if you're not a professional advisor, why are you telling us? Why should we trust you? I am sharing what I do. We don't talk about money very often. Do you sit down and talk about it with your friends and family? Everyone is like, hush, hush. I wonder what, okay, not everyone, but to a larger extent. So I share what I'm doing in the hope that it will give you ideas, and maybe to give you ideas of things to do, or if you've been thinking about something, listening to someone else's perspective might be helpful. That is why I share, but I always want to put the disclaimer that I am not a professional. You get what I mean? So please take everything I say with a grain of salt. And if you do not agree, guys, please leave it in the comments below. I look forward to reading and learning from you. You guys have so many very nice perspectives. Certain things I've learned so much from you. So if you agree, if you don't agree, please leave it in the comments. It helps me because I read them every morning, and guys, I look forward to it. And if you and also I'm sure other people read through. So your feedback is very welcome and very helpful. Now, back to what I was saying. I was saying that when it comes to my net worth, for me this is how I look at it. I look at land. So if I have a plot of land, that plot of land will appreciate in value. But the plot of land does not generate cash flow. And cash flow is what we need. Okay, we need all of them, but cash flow is what you use to buy food and take your child to the hospital. Cash. So I do not claim that land has no value. It does have value, but I feel like, for me, in my opinion, at the moment, I reserve the right to change my mind. at the moment, I feel like having a blend of assets that this land is appreciating, though it may not bring cash flow. Now, when I have that, and then I have the NSSF version, which is through the workplace, which is now more long-term, you're looking at retirement. You have the NSSF and the value that you have. For those who are in, some may have more, some may have less, but nonetheless, if some may not even have NSSF, but I hear there is private contribution. I'm not sure how it works, but you have NSSF, so you have on your net worth, you have NSSF, you have land. Then I do believe in bonds. Bonds work, and bonds give you cash flow because they pay you interest every 6 months. I have an episode where I talk about bonds. If you're curious and you have questions about that, I have an episode about that. So I have bonds. Now bonds counter, because land and NSSF are more long term and they don't give me cash flow, but bonds give you cash flow. So then there are bonds, and then there are shares. I have an episode about shares as well. I do believe in shares. MTN, Stanbic, Umeme, like everyone has their tastes and preferences. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but shares also have the benefit of cash flow, because if you have shares in a company that gives you dividends, then they will pay you out the money and you will have cash flow. So those are shares that also have that benefit. And then I add life policy under this category, because when I look at life policies, it is money that has value. I would not categorize it as an investment, but it has whatever value I've saved up as of today, I add it there as well. So you add the life insurance section. And then the unit trusts. I've already talked about the unit trusts. So these are more liquid, because the unit trust will give you interest. I have an episode about unit trusts. The unit trust will give you more interest, but it's liquid, because when you need the money, you get the money. So the unit trust is a little bit more liquid. So you can see that I'm moving from sections that are less liquid, moving to more liquid, because now you're getting into the unit trusts, the money you have in cash, the money you have in your wallet, and then if you've lent out any money to anybody and you expect them to pay you back. If you're in a circle, the money that you have there in savings or investments. I have an episode about circles, things like that anyway. Yeah, things like that. So that is how I look at, that is my thought process when it comes to net worth. Then of course you have the liability section. If you have any loans, if you have any salary loans, if you have a mortgage, if you have a loan in a circle, if you have a mobile money loan, these apps online, if you have any loans, you add them there as well. Currently, I do not believe in loans. Perhaps I'm just risk averse, but loans just freak me out. Loans just freak me out. But anyway, that is what you'd have under liabilities. I don't have a car yet. Some people would choose to put the car under an asset. Some people would choose not to put the car under an asset. It's up to you. But when I get my car, I don't know what I'd do. I think I wouldn't put it under an asset, because I would not be it. If I was struck, I would not want to sell it. But I don't know anyway. Like, all this is about tastes and preferences and perspectives. I'm just sharing my thoughts. But anyway, that is how I think through my overall management system, like how the money flows and how the way I budget monthly leads into the net worth. So I try to monitor the net worth figure to see that it's not dropping, because sometimes you can overspend on a monthly basis, but you do not see the large picture of how overspending in 1 month by drawing from your savings is affecting your net worth. And the goal is to have net worth, because in the long run, we will not have the same energy to work. We're going to grow old, and it would be very valuable to have passive income, to have money from businesses or investments that is able to keep us going in our old age. That is the long-term picture that I'm looking at, and the reason why I'm doing all this. And most importantly, it helps me sleep better at night with less anxiety. I do not have that much money, but when I manage the one that I have, as little as it is, it reduces anxiety. And also looking at it like this and seeing my progress gives me contentment, because now I'm able to look at where I was in January, because I'm tracking and I can see the progress that I've made. Sometimes we are so hard on ourselves because you can't see the progress. You feel like you're pushing. You may actually be making progress, but you can't see the progress because you're not tracking it. So I encourage you to buy my Google Sheet template. The link is below, and here you will have the whole year. So you will start tracking. We are now in July, we have 6 months to go. You can start tracking now, and come December, you can give yourself a pat on the back and you're like, this is where I was in July, and now I can see where I am in December. I may not be at my end goal, but I've made progress, and seeing the progress keeps you going. It gives you momentum. It gives you ideas on how to keep working on your goal. So that's my update on the flow of my money management system, and I hope you find this, if you find this interesting. For anything that you're like, Gabby, I think this doesn't make sense, this is what I think, please leave it in the comments. I really do look forward to reading your comments and responding. I respond to all of them. If you have any questions, they're welcome. What do you do? Share with us. Let us have these conversations below. This whole money is taboo and comfortable thing, let's try and break it up a bit. Guys, we're in this battle together. We have the same goals, and if we learn from each other, we will go further, So please leave your comments below, and if you've watched till the end, you can leave a money emoji, like any version that you like, in the end. And I would like to see the people that watch towards the end. Not everyone does, and for those who do, I do appreciate. So I'm going to leave on the screen an episode about what I used to do a year ago, and also the 5 bank accounts, how to set them up in more detail. Yeah. If you find this valuable, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye guys.